Hi, friends. It's just Nathan checking in with you guys to update you on everything that's happening. And we're kind of at an incredible moment here as we look to the summer and the fall and what God has been doing. I told you guys back in the fall and the winter that I had a new role with Young Life, and it's been pretty incredible to see what God has been doing this year. So I want to keep you updated. As you know, Young Life is strong in so many schools, and the people that you're looking at right now are really still the prime people I care about in terms of nurturing and growing and keeping our ministries healthy. We certainly don't want to reach more places at the expense of losing places where we already are reaching kids. And across the board in all those schools, this year we've experienced great victories, we've experienced defeats. It's been a struggle in some places, and we're still fighting, and we're still trying to reach kids. So, I always want to make sure first off, how much we care about the communities we're in, and especially the staff and the leaders that serve there. Just to refresh you, this year I have a new job with Young Life, and as you look at it, I'm happy to report here almost at the end of May that this is really what I've been doing all year. Spending most of my time supervising staff, but then also working to start New Young Life, but then also had the opportunity to serve Young Life in Central America, and definitely am networking with the Catholic Church where I can and being a servant with that. So it's been a great year that way. As we look to this year and the new things that God is doing, May 1st we opened Young Life Syracuse City as a new Young Life area. Now, it was an old Young Life area back in the day with Carlos Dimas. We used to call it Syracuse Urban, but we changed it to Young Life Syracuse City. And we did that because the 5 things listed there are ministries that we're involved with or that we're leading that really give us an identity. Young Lives is as healthy as it's ever been, and largely in thanks to Sarah Coward's leadership. And we're hoping this summer to bring along a partner, Danielle, that'll work alongside of her. And after meeting with them, I really believe that they're going to be an incredible team to reach more girls than we ever have. Girls that are in real need, right at the bedrock of poverty and the issue of poverty in our country, are teenage moms. And we are so thrilled to have such great women and a team of people serving in the midst of that need. While 2C, we continue to try to reach out to these guys that are in the inmate population. We're now getting letters from all around the state from guys who are serving their sentences but met Christ through the work we did there last year. We're on a little bit of a quote-unquote vacation right now as that inmate population is being moved to a different facility. So we're praying to make sure that we get into that new facility and start meeting with them as soon as possible. Building Men is this program that is run by a good friend of mine named Joe Horan. Joe is, and actually I provided a link in the email if you want to read an incredible article about Joe. And we're going to start this fall with Joe. He was working primarily with middle school kids. We're going to be able to start at Nottingham High School. So we're not sure if we're going to call it Young Life or we're going to call it something else, but we're going to give him the resources to make sure that he can start reaching out to high school kids as well. Brady Faith is just a place that's close to my heart. Right there on the south side. I was down there about 2 or 3 weeks ago with 10 or 12 kids from the south side who are truly the light of Jesus in the midst of a dark place. And they're sharp young people. And so together with Brady, we're making an investment in those young people and their leadership. And we're seeing great things. And then, of course, the summer interns, the 4 summer interns that we're hiring this summer, college kids who will serve in the city at Brady Faith and running our summer servants camp. So we've got a lot that we're enthusiastic about and a lot to look forward to next year, too. At the same time, we have a green light to start Young Life at CNS High School and actually start a new Young Life area. We're hiring Jillian McGann as a part-time staff woman for Young Life CNS. Jillian is a graduate here at Boston College. She went there for 3 years and graduated early. She's a JD kid from our ministry at Janesville DeWitt. And she's agreed to come over here and try to reach out to these kids. There's 700 kids per class at CNS, and we've been getting kids to come out for some monthly outreach events through the network of teachers we know. Just the beginning of meeting adults and meeting with teachers and potential leaders, we're seeing that this is a community that great things can happen. And so Jillian has agreed to come, and we're going to put a budget around her and get her working part-time with kids up at CNS. I'm really excited to tell you that everything is pointing towards us being able to start Young Life at Fort Drum and hiring a part-time staff woman named Adrian. Adrian is a mom. Her husband is currently in Afghanistan, I believe on his 3rd tour. And we're just awaiting the Army contract that has been applied for to start what's called Club Beyond. In the military world, Young Life is called Club Beyond, or you may have heard of MCYM, which is kind of the military version of Young Life. And we're looking to have this started in the summer or fall of 2014. There are, from what we were told, a couple thousand middle school and high school kids who live on base and go to area high schools. And Adrienne has already begun to make a dent in reaching out to those kids. And we can't wait to get her up and running and to grow this ministry up there. Of course, the whole winter and spring, there's time dedicated to Enrique and El Salvador, and I don't want to go over that again, but just to say that the kids and the leaders in our area here have once again come through in a big way, and we're going to be able to support the vast majority of their financial needs for Young Life in El Salvador. And our recruiting trip through Haiti was incredibly fruitful, and there are now 3 trips on the calendar for kids from Ohio State and Columbus and Cincinnati to be in the mountains of Haiti next summer. I don't know what my role will be with that in the future, but if all I ever got to do was connect those groups of people, it might be the best thing I was ever a part of. Just want to keep on your radar. We did have a year. We finished the year down in Cortland, and we did have a great little year, starting a little wildlife club down there, and we're going to keep following up with that and keep moving in that direction. You know, I shared this slide with you back in the winter that the vision really for the fall, and even starting now as money becomes a necessity, is that I would raise money and then give it away to these things. You know, whether it's Fort Drum or CNS or Brady Faith or Young Lives, that I'd be the conduit to help raise money. And so this is kind of that moment in the summer for me to begin to see what we can do to support these new ministries that are springing up. The total financial need for my own personal budget and the new initiatives that we have for next year is only about $180,000. And I don't know if that strikes you as a large or a small number, but to me it seems like about the right fit. And based on the current giving that we already have established, we've got about $150,000 already committed, which gives us a need of about $30,000. And you might wonder, what's the plan, to raise $30,000? Well, there's a lot of different nuances to it, but to just give you the basics of it, I've already been talking to adults in CNS that they would hopefully be able to give about $12,000. I also have a foundation lined up this winter to ask to help us with our Young Lives expansion that should be able to give us about $5,000. Based on the way things are projecting right now, I should personally have about a $5,000 surplus from last year that I can give towards this. And the reason I'm sending out this message to you is that I'm raising a goal of raising about $7,500 in new personal support. These are new donors to our ministry or old donors to our ministry that are giving in a new way, about $7,500. And I have a friend here in Syracuse who's a dear friend of mine named Bill, who has agreed to match up to $10,000 in new money raised, which means basically that if people respond to this message and give $1,000, he'll give $1,000. If people give $2,500, they'll give $2,500. And so the total possible that I could raise, or that could be raised to fill that gap, is about $40,000, which would be really celebrated. And so I just wanted to get that in front of you, that this is a reasonable goal with a good plan behind it. What motivates me this year? There's been a lot of things that motivated me. And what might motivate you as a person who's going to get behind this and donate? There's a million great scriptures, but I always think of Mark chapter 2. The need is so great. Jesus said after healing the man, it's not healing the man and then having the party where the tax collectors were welcome and the sinners were front and center and the Pharisees complained. He said, it's not the healthy who need a doctor, but the sick. I haven't called to call the righteous, but the unrighteous. The adolescent world is ravaged by sin, by evil, by influences that are beyond our control and our force, and just that are difficult. And we are thrilled to be on the front lines, involved in those kids' lives, and befriending people who love those kids to bring them Jesus. Because it's not the healthy who need a doctor, but it's kids like the one we're meeting. So how can you give? There's kind of 3 options. Monthly, I'm going to include some instructions here in the email. I'd love for you guys, any of you, to become monthly donors. You can give directly to my account, and I will get it exactly where it needs to be spent to help us start all that new work. You can give by direct withdrawal or credit card. It's online, it's very simple, and the instructions are in the email. You can also give a one-time gift. You can use the same format. It's such a great gift. Or if you wanted to write a check I'm going to include our office, and you can send a check in as well. And maybe you have a job or a situation where you want to give a one-time gift at the end of a quarter because of a bonus, or at the end of the year, and that's fine too. A lot of people do that. And of course, prayer. I'll keep you posted, and you can keep praying. I know that some of you guys are just starting out in your life, and you may not make as much money as you will one day, and that's great. After doing this for 18 years, I have no judgment in my heart for anybody who gives or can't give. But understand that in being obedient, I want to offer to you guys that you could support this and be a part of what God's doing. I love this slide. I put it at the end of a lot of things I've done. It's a wildlife trip from a couple years back, and just says thank you. These are what look like little children to me at this point, because I'm getting to be old. But they'll never thank you. You might not meet any of these kids who have been exposed to Christ and His love, but I can thank you on their behalf. And I can't tell you what it means to me that you'd think about partnering to reach so many kids in new places with the gospel. So thank you for your friendship, and thank you for your support. Have a great day, guys.